Hey, good morning. What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I'm not going to be in here very long this morning, but I thought it would be worth having a quick conversation with regard to, um, making money. This conversation came up, and I thought I would share it with you guys to help anybody, especially young people who are trying to find a way to make a way, how to turn a dollar into make a dollar out of 15 cents, that kind of thing. Now, now let me give you guys a quick, reminder. In terms of my background is that I'm a college professor. I taught at Syracuse University, the Ohio State University, the University of Kentucky, Indiana University, et cetera. And I taught in the business school. And I want to say good morning to Gwendolyn and everybody else. I can't see all your names, but I want to keep my train of thought here. So I'm gonna talk, but I won't respond to the comments right away. But that's because I want to make sure I get this thought out so I don't take too much of your time. Um, you know, here's what was on my brain today. I was thinking about the years that I've spent teaching in business schools, and how many people, especially people that look like us, we get duped into into believing things that just aren't true. You right now you have a student loan crisis like you would not believe, where you've got all millions and millions of college students, that former college students who are drowning in debt, and they're kind of in this precarious situation, this weird situation where you need money to solve your problem, but the skill that you're the least trained in is how to obtain money, right? You need money to solve the problem, but you can't get money because you were never taught how to make money. And so it's almost like, my number one problem is I need to figure out how to win a Super Bowl, but I don't even know how to throw a football, right? I don't even know how to put on my pads. I don't know anything about that. I just know that I need to win a Super Bowl. Well, that's kind of a tough situation to be in. And and so, as I think about this, I think about the way we're educated, when it comes to money, right? We're taught to love money. We're taught to love money at an early age. We're taught to want it. We're taught to see what it can do for us. And we worship it. We practically worship it as a society. People worship the Kardashians and rappers like Cardi B. They teach little 7-year-old girls that if you shake enough butt in a man's face, he'll buy you Gucci and stuff like that. Which is, I mean, that is prostitution. In case you don't know, in case you haven't made the connection, like you're teaching the child how to be a prostitute. But hey, that's okay with you, then it's okay with me. Um, but one of the things that I believe, that I strongly believe, is that the reason that you see people do desperate things to get money and end up in desperate situations is because growing up at an early age, there's no conversation on what it means to know how to make money. Like what does that look like? Like, what do you study? What are you supposed to do? What skills are you supposed to have? There's no conversation about that. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. If you grew up in a house where there was no conversation on exactly how to go about getting money. Maybe the only conversation about getting money was fill out a job application. And that's, it is what it is. But so here's your problem, right? You're not trained on how to obtain money, but you need money, and then you go so deep in debt that money is the only thing that can save you. Money becomes the antidote. Money becomes the savior. It becomes the drug that you need in order for you to be whole again. But nobody ever taught you even the basics on how to obtain that drug, right? That's a pretty desperate, pretty terrible situation to be in. And so, here's the interesting thing, right? You've got different categories of people, I've noticed, just in my years as I reflected in my 25 years of teaching college students. You've got those people that have no education at all, who are in the worst situations, right? Their deepest economic education is, I'm going to fill out a job application and hope that Walmart decides to raise the minimum wage, right? That's all they know how to do. That's all they were trained to do. I feel bad for people in that situation. I know a lot of people in that situation. That was the situation my family was in until I had a father that just said, I want you to be in a better situation than the one I was in. Then you got those who get a little education, maybe they go to college, things like that. And so for those individuals, it's not like they're really taught what they need to know. They're kind of taught, okay, if you get this degree, then you can magically fill out better job applications, right? Now, when you apply for a job, instead of making, $15 an hour, hopefully you'll be making $35 an hour, or you'll be making a salary of $50,000 a year, which still isn't enough for most people to even begin to conquer their student loan debt. But if you really ask most college graduates, how do you really make money? Like, what does that look like? A lot of them don't know. And then you've got a higher level, right? You've got people that actually maybe went to business school. And they've gotten formal training on business and everything else, right? How to run a business, all this stuff like that. And even those individuals are still filling out job applications, right? Even those individuals, if they don't get a job, they're kind of stuck. They don't have any other pathway to get money because they just don't know what else to do. Like, I applied for jobs and none of the jobs came through, so I'm kind of stuck. And I got all this formal education. I have a college degree and I study business. So I don't understand what happened here. How did I go to Duke for an MBA and still end up struggling financially? There's a really great TED Talk by a woman who literally, I think the title of the TED Talk is, I have a Harvard MBA and I'm bankrupt, or I'm completely broke, or something like that. So you would say, how can you have an MBA from the arguably the best school in the world and still be broke? Well, because nobody ever taught you the most fundamental skill that you needed to have, which was the ability to make money. So what I'll do is I'll contrast this with a story that I heard from a 62-year-old limo driver. This 62-year-old limo driver, I was in the back of his car, and he told me, I asked him, I said, so what line of business are you in? Because he's really interesting to talk to. I love the limo drivers. Whenever I go give speeches and stuff, the limo drivers are always the most interesting people. And he said, I don't have a profession. I make money. I said, what? He said, my profession is I find out where the money's at and I go get it. And I said, explain that. Tell me more about that. He said, I grew up watching my daddy work in the coal mines, and I saw what happened when the coal mines disappeared. He said, I saw my daddy and my daddy's friends become winos and alcoholics. I saw them become lazy. I saw them sitting around the house. They lost their manhood right in front of me as a little boy. And he said, in my mind at that moment, I said, I will never end up in that situation. So he said, I didn't go to college. I didn't, I don't know much about applying for jobs because I never applied for one. He said, I find out where the money's at and I go get it. And I said, so your profession is making money? He said, yes. And I said, that is one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard in my life. That literally, this man says, if you say, well, what do you study? What do you specialize in? You say, I specialize in making money. What did you major in college? I didn't major in nothing except making money, right? And that is it's a lot like, that's a beautiful statement, because it's almost like hunting, like if you think about eating, hunting and getting food. Imagine if you're in the woods and you're trying to get food to eat. Your goal is to get food. Your goal is to figure out where the food is, catch the food, and then get the food ready so you can eat it, right? Well, there's some people who don't know how to hunt, right? Those people are going to starve to death. People get out in the woods, they don't know what to do. They're waiting for food to land in their lap. It doesn't come, so they just starve to death, right? Then you got the people who become maybe professional hunters. Maybe they go to hunting school and they go and they have guns and they spend thousands of dollars buying the right boots and the right hat and the right hunting licenses and the right, whatever, like all the formalities necessary to become a hunter, right? There's all these barriers to entry, as they call it, to becoming a true hunter. And that helps them more, but it's still not necessary, right? Then you got people that just say, okay, I need to solve the most fundamental problem that's in front of me. The most fundamental problem here is, how do I find a way to get food? And those are the people that figure out where the nuts and berries are located. They figure out where the restaurants are. They figure out where all the animals are. They figure out how to find ways to pay hunters to go hunt for them. They figure out ways to make alliances with people that already have food. They're just thinking, I need to get my hands on some food. Who do you think is going to eat the best? Who's going to eat the best? The people that are going to eat the best are the ones who are thinking the most about the core fundamental objective. The core fundamental objective is not to be the coolest looking hunter. It's not to have the best gear. It's not to go to the best hunting school. It is the sole purpose is to find food and get it on your plate so you can eat it. And I think that's the way you want to think about money. The people that tend to be the best at making money are the ones who just are focused on learning how to make money, where making money becomes like a profession for them. And those are the people who tend to become rich. Those are the ones who become millionaires. So, what I wanted to do was kind of break this down for you. Again, I'm a college professor and all that stuff, and that's what I do, for a living. And when you're a college professor, it's whether you're at a university or not, you're always a professor. It's kind of like being a preacher. Like just because you leave the church don't mean you ain't still repping the word of God. You still are a man of God. You just do it in a different context. And what I would say is this: when I was in China, I went to China for a couple of weeks, and I was studying entrepreneurs in China. I traveled 5,000 miles all throughout the country of China, and I saw entrepreneurs in 4 or 5 different cities. And what I noticed was that in every single city I went to, I saw the same products, I saw the same sales processes, I saw the same distribution channels, I saw all different kinds of things that really let me know that there was some sort of systemization that underlied all this stuff that looked pretty chaotic, right? Same supply chain, same everything. And what I also found fascinating was that I saw some of the best entrepreneurs I ever saw in my life. I saw some of the best money makers I'd ever seen in my life, because they understood the fundamentals of making money. They understood that getting money that they needed to feed their family that day meant something very basic: finding a customer and offering that customer something that they wanted. It was that's it. It was that basic. It's okay. You look like a customer because you look like you have money in your pocket. Here, I have something that I think you would like. Let's trade. And that's the sort of foundation of economics. It's trade. It's what do you give me what you got, I'll give you what I got, and then we'll both be better off because of it. Everything comes down to trade. And when you make it complicated, like you make people think that in order to make money, you've got to spend 4 years in college and go $100,000 in debt, and then fill out 85 job applications and then go beg for money or whatever, beg for opportunities. Well, then you're making it overly complicated. Or if you tell somebody, oh, well, in order to make money, you've got to go fill out an LLC and you've got to go to business school and you got to make sure that you know how to properly structure your organization. You're making it complicated for people. And not that those things can't add value, but they only add value if you understand the core purpose and the core objective. The core objective is I need money and the customer has money. I need to serve the customer's needs so I can get money. So to some extent, I started off talking about Cardi B, and again, the really disturbing idea that she literally in every song is telling your 7-year-old daughter that if she gives a man lots of sex, he's going to give her money. That's right. That's a problem. But what is also fascinating is that part of what she's saying is correct. If you figure out who your customer is, figure out what they want and give them what they want, then they will give you what you want. So that's why sometimes you'll see a stripper having more money in her pocket than a college graduate, right? A stripper will many times drive a nicer car than somebody who went to Stanford, right? How does a stripper have a nicer car than a person who went to business school? That don't make no sense. Well, that's because when you were off studying business, she was handling her business. She was handling business. She understood the basics. I need money. He has money. I know what he wants. I'm going to give it to him and he gives me money back. Now, I'm not trying to say you want to be a stripper. I'm not advocating for the stripper business model. That's up to you ethically to decide if that's something that you want to participate in. But what I'm saying is that a lot of that fundamental idea is a learning point. That's a learning point, right? It's literally, most strippers. I know every stripper apparently tells you that they're stripping to go to medical school or something, right? I guess that's like the fancy cool thing for them to say, to not feel so bad or whatever it is, to deal with the stigma of being a stripper. But I would be willing to bet you that most strippers don't go to business school. I'd be willing to bet you that the majority of them may not even go to college, right? But here's the thing. They understand where the money's at and how to get it. When the ballers are in VIP, they all get excited and they all go run to VIP because they know that that's where the money's at, and they know where the customer's located. They know what the customer wants, and they know that if they give the customer what they want, then the customer will give them what they want. So again, I'm not here to say at all that I'm advocating for any of that. For the record, if you ever want to know if I've ever been to a strip club, I went to a strip club once because it was my brother's bachelor party, and I promised that I would go wherever he went. But it was very weird because I was sitting here thinking, oh my God, I'm in the strip club. Somebody takes a picture of me. Somebody recognizes me. Fortunately, it was dark, and apparently that's not where all the conscious people hang out. So nobody said anything to me about it. But it was a fascinating experience. Because maybe I'm old fashioned, but I still can't wrap my brain around the concept of somebody that I just met being totally naked right next to me. Like, that was weird to me. I grew up at a time. I'm a Southern black man. I grew up at a time where you had to actually work to get close to the vagina. I didn't know that that the vagina was that cheap now. I didn't know that the price of vagina had dropped from here to 85 cents. I didn't know, but so that was kind of weird. And I'm such a nerd. I remember asking one of them, I said, you're really acrobatic. I said, you guys are real athletes. I used to be a track coach, right? So I noticed athletic people. So I remember asking one of them, I said, did you do gymnastics when you were in high school? She's like, oh yeah, I did gymnastics and tumble and blah, 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 blah. And she was happy to talk about it. And she was really strong. I was like, you hung from the pipes. Like, that's impressive. And so anyway, so that was interesting. And then I remember one of them mentioning that she does go to college or something. I said, so what are you majoring in? She said education or something. I didn't believe her. It was a bunch of BS. But that was my one strip club experience. I ain't having no more strip club experiences. And I think it's important. I share that openly because I don't think that we're better off as a community when we think that every black man is supposed to be hanging out at the strip club, like that's just normal, that's just I'm not saying you're bad for doing it. I'm just saying that's not, like, there are many ways a man can spend his time in a more productive fashion than just hanging out and throwing out dollar bills. I mean, maybe it's something fun for you to do once or twice for the hell of it, but I don't know if it should become part of your weekly culture, but that's on you. Anyway, the point, but again, though, the stripper analogy, I think, applies in the sense that making money is a very basic concept. It's a very primitive idea. It's something that comes down to, can you identify a customer? Can you identify their need? And can you offer them a product that fulfills their need? If you can do that, then I don't care what business school you went to, you could have, you have an opportunity to be a millionaire. So in fact, the Netflix, this great documentary called The Founder, about the founder of, or not the founder, but one of the guys that helped found McDonald's. And basically their business model was super simple. They just executed it, to perfection. And that's why the company's worth, I don't know how many hundreds of billions of dollars now. It's kind of crazy. So anyway, do me a favor. If you're on YouTube or anywhere else, please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit that thumbs up button right now, if you will. Also, if you happen to want to raise economically intelligent children in the Black Business School, we have a great program for children of color, or really, you don't have to be Black, but we are the Black Business School. And you can go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. It's a great program. And there are self-study exams and PowerPoints presentations and cartoons, and also your child can print out a certificate once they're done that they can put on their wall, which will give them lots of pride and self-esteem, and really it's really good for kids in terms of identifying themselves as money makers at an early age. In fact, I'm actually working with a guy named Rick Mathis, a filmmaker down in Atlanta. And now that I think about it, the film title that he chose, which I like, is called Young Money Makers. And it's all about focusing on young people that know how to make money. So if I were you, I would that's what I focus on. Now, please call me for help. I'm not going to call you, my friend, because I do not use the phone that often because I get too many phone calls and stuff like that. But if you want to talk to me about something or get a message to us, my email is manager@boycewatkins.com. That's manager@boycewatkins.com. Serious inquiries only, please, and keep them short, because she gets a lot of messages and she ignores a lot of them because she can't respond to all of them. So if you have serious business, it's something that, you have a speech and you have some money you can put behind your event, then she can help you take care of it, stuff like that. And the reason I have to say that is because I get a lot of messages from people that say, hey, invest in this and buy this from me and give me money for that. And we're like, it's so hard to keep up with everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm about to go. Also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. And I'm out of here. So please have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.